Hello children. Let's begin with a new concept today, that is tRNA adapter molecule. We need to learn about the structure of the tRNA and we have to learn about translation and further processes as well. So let's go into the detail about the first concept, that is tRNA, the adapter molecule. Now when I say tRNA, the adapter molecule, now the presence of adapter molecule which could read the code and would bind to specific amino acid during translation. It was proposed by the scientist Francis Crick in 1961. So the tRNA was known before genetic code and was called as sRNA, which is soluble RNA. But later its role as an adapter molecule was reported. So how is the structure? As you can see in the diagram, the tRNA has a secondary structure like a clover leaf, but its three-dimensional structure depicts it as an inverted L-shaped molecule. So the tRNA has majorly 5 arms, or you can also name it as a loop. So first one is anticodon loop, which has the bases which is complementary to the code. And the tRNA are specific for specific amino acid, right? The second one is what? Meaning the second loop is for the amino acid acceptor end. Now at this end the amino acids bind. The third one is a T loop. It helps in binding to ribosomes. The fourth one is a D loop. Now D loop, it helps in binding the amino acyl synthetase. Okay. The fifth one is variable loop. It is what? It is a variable in both nucleotide composition and in length. Okay, so let's learn the another important process apart from transcription, which is translation. Now it is a process by which the triplet based sequence, that is a codon. When I say triplet based sequence, it is nothing but it is a codon that we learned in the last video lecture, right? The process by which the codon on the mRNA guides the linking of specific sequence of amino acid to form a polypeptide on the ribosomes, which is termed as translation. Now the translation requires a machinery that consists of ribosome, mRNA, tRNA and amino acyl tRNA synthetase. So that is this particular enzyme, it helps the combining amino acid to a particular tRNA. Okay. So the initiator tRNA is a specific tRNA for the process of initiation. Okay. And are no tRNA for stop codons. The ribosome is responsible for the protein synthesis, as we all know, and it consists of structural RNA and around 80 different proteins. So there are two types of ribosome, one is small subunit and one is large. Okay, meaning two types, rather than saying two types, I would say two subunits, right? So there are two subunits, one is small subunit of ribosomes and second one is large subunit. So when I say small subunit, it is the when the small subunit encounters an mRNA, translation of mRNA to protein begins, and when large subunit consists of two sites where amino acids can bind to and be close to each other for the formation of peptide bond. So the ribosome acts as catalyst as well. Okay, where in bacteria. Okay, so as we learned about the transcriptional unit, let's learn about the translational unit. So it is a sequence of RNA flanked by a start codon, that is AUG. We have learned it in codons, genetic code, and the stop codon, that is in mRNA. So the UTR, that is untranslated regions, are some additional sequences in mRNA that are not translated. So they are present in both the ends, that is in the 5' end and the 3' end. Okay. Now if I have to talk about the regulation of gene expression. Now gene expression, basically it results in the formation of a polypeptide, and gene regulation is a mechanism of switching off and on of the genes depending upon the requirement of the cells and the stage of development. So the regulation of gene expression has various levels. In eukaryotes it takes place in the following level, like first one, the transcriptional level, which is a primary transcript is formed, okay, where the primary transcript is formed. The processing level, second one, regulation of splicing. We already know the term splicing. Then transport of mRNA from nucleus to the cytoplasm, and translation level. That is, in prokaryotes, the gene expression is regulated by controlling the rate of initiation of transcription. Okay. Now, in prokaryotes, the control of transcriptional rate of initiation is the predominant site for control of gene expression. The genes in a cell are expressed to perform a particular function or a set of function. So, the metabolic, physiological or environmental condition that regulate the expression of genes. So, the development and the differentiation of the embryo into an adult organism are also result of the coordinated regulation of expression of several sets of genes. So, in prokaryotes, the control of the transcriptional rate of initiation is the predominant site for control of gene expression. In transcription unit, the activity of RNA polymerase at a given promoter, at a given promoter region is in turn regulated by the interaction with the accessory protein, which affect its ability to recognize the start sites. So here there is an accessibility of promoter regions of prokaryotic DNA in many cases. So which is regulated by an interaction of proteins, where you can use the term as operators. The operator region is adjacent to the promoter elements in most operons. And in most cases, the sequences of the operator bind in a repressor protein. So each operon has its specific operator and a specific repressor. For example, the lac operator is present only in the lac operon and it interacts with the lac repressor only. It is a system where a polycistronic structural gene is regulated by a common promoter and a regulatory gene. So such an arrangement you would term it as what? An operon. For example, lac operon. Now why do we say it as lac? It is because the presence of lactose gives them a name, that is lac operon. When I say trip operon, it is because of the tryptophan amino acid, right? Same is the case of others, that is his operon, that is histidine, val operon, that is valin. Okay, so the structure of lac operon, it consists of various genes. So one regulatory gene, that is I gene, which codes for the repressor of the lac operon. The three structural genes, that is Z, Y and A. The Z codes for beta galactosidase, that is beta gal, that is how we say it in short, that helps in the hydrolysis of disaccharides into its monomeric units, that is lactose into galactose and glucose. Whereas the Y gene, the another structural gene, it codes for permease enzyme that increases the permeability of the cell to beta galactosides. Whereas the third one, A gene, codes for a transacetylase. Okay, so lactose is known to be the inducer and the substrate for the enzyme, that is beta galactosidase. So if lactose is provided as a carbon source in the growth medium, in the absence of the preferred carbon source such as glucose, the lactose is transported into the cells by the action of enzyme permease, and the lactose then induces the operon. So the I gene synthesizes a repressor of the operon, and repressor binds to the operator region of the operon. Okay, so the regulation of the lac operon by the repressor is referred to as the negative regulation, whereas lac operon can work under the control of positive regulation as well. Fine. So when lactose is absent, that is a small I gene regulates and produces the repressor mRNA in the absence of lactose, which can block transcription. Okay, and when lactose is present, the lactose acts as an inducer here and binds to the repressor. Thus, it forms an inactive repressor. Okay, so this was all about the lac operon. So I hope you understood the concept of today. Study well and revise it thoroughly. Thank you so much.